Hey everybody, welcome back to Palworld mod building. This is MoxxyHaven, and today I'm going to show you how to make a custom training log, as you see behind me. This is going to work for any of the logging pals, and I'm going to show you how to custom fit this design to whatever pal you like to use. This is not going to be very effective if you have many pals logging, but I always have one logging site per base, so this works out great for me. I'll demonstrate for you a few of the ones that we already have made over here. I have one made for Dinosaur. Yeah. I have one made for Warsect. And I have a custom one made for Dogen. Now for this tutorial, we're going to be making one for Rat because, of course, all of these guys have different collision. So when they come into contact with the logging site is different for everybody. So I'm going to show you how to gauge that and make a custom one for any pal that you prefer. This is coolest with pals that have custom attack animations for their logging, of course like Bushi, Warsect, Dogen, but it also works equally well with ones that use an axe, just not quite as visually effective. So let's get started. To make one of these, you're going to need 3 pieces. You're going to need a logging site, a hanging trap, and a carpet. And what you're going to do, let's see, for this purpose, I'm going to inset another training site right over here. What you're going to want is a rock or a wall to hide the loop of this hanging trap into, if it bothers you. It does bother me, so that's definitely what I'm going to do. So we're going to start by grabbing our hanging trap, and we're going to want to pick where it goes. And I'm going to want it to orient over here. Alright. Now by the time we're done, whichever way this bottom rope is facing is the orientation your pal will have at your logging site. We have this spread going. This one faces this way. This one faces this way. And so on and so forth. So we're going to do the same thing for this one. We're going to move this over a little bit, and we're going to follow that same kind of curvature. Alright, so now that we have where we want our training log to be when we're done, this is where I'm going to want it to be situated. I'm going to copy the hanging trap's information and paste it onto whatever carpet it is we want to use. This same method works for any carpet. And then once we've pasted it, we're going to move it forward just to get it out of our way. We're going to go back to our hanging trap. We're going to come over here to our x-axis, our x-axis, and we're going to input tilde 90. And this is going to give us a perfect 90-degree angle flip backwards. Alright. Now what we got to do is we need to turn it around perfectly 180 degrees so that we have the wooden post facing toward us. We can do that by coming over here to our Y rotation, and we're going to hit shift and up 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This gives us a perfect 180-degree rotation. Now we're going to double the scale. This will work with any scale that you find visually appealing. 2 is the best for my purposes. So what we want to do is we want to lift this as far as we can while still hiding the whole log. There we go. You see it's sticking up here, so we might still have to modify that. And now we're going to use Shift and O, or regular O, or Alt and O to move this backwards. We want to hide that rope in the rock, and I want this rope to have about the same height as all of my other ones. So that looks good to me. So now I have my visual post in place. So now what we're going to want to do is actually to make it functional. So to make it functional, we're going to manipulate a logging site and change how our pals interact with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste our carpet's information onto our logging site. Of course, if you follow these steps properly, the logging site will always be faced forward. This is perfect for us because a pal, especially the very first pal assigned or locked onto this logging site, will always try to go dead center in the front of this, and it is perfectly centered. So now what we want to do is we want to make this small enough to manipulate. I find that 0.1, 0.1, 0.01 in height is the best way to go because it's the easiest to hide. So if you press shift and down, that'll reduce the scale by 1, then press up for 0.1, shift down for 0, up for 0.1, shift down for 0, and we're going to use alt and press up to get 0.01. Then we go ahead and lift that up, and you can see that that's a thin logging site, thin enough for us to hide in a carpet or in the ground. So now what we want to do is we want to assign the PAL, the one custom PAL that we would have designed this for, to the logging site. You see he has this attack animation. And he is attacking through the logging site. But that's okay, that's why we're going to hide it in the carpet. What we're going to do is we're going to use K to back this up, and see he's going to try to follow it every single time you move it. He's going to try to follow it. So this is going to help you orient visually so that Gurrat is actually hitting the dummy like this. Now we got Gurrat training here. Now if you feel like that's too far into the post, you can use Alt and I and pull it forward, and you see he wants to continue to reorient. There you go. We got us a training Gurrat. Now what we want to do is we want to move this logging site down and just barely clip it through the ground. Now it's important, when you are moving objects into the ground, never leave them where you can't reach them again. It will cause you all kinds of problems. Be very careful not to put objects below the world line or below the water line. It's not impossible to get them out, but you will have to do things like move through walls and stuff like that in order to get it out, and it'll just gonna be a really big pain. Now it's okay if you can't target it with rotate it, but as long as you can open your destroy and target it like this, then you're in good hands. Don't worry about it. So now we know that this is lined up perfectly for Gurrat, and it's hidden in the ground. So now we're going to take our carpet and we're going to walk our carpet forward. We're going to give him a nice place to stand while he trains. And let's shorten this a little bit. There we go. Like this, walk it forward a little bit. There we go. Now we have a permanent training spot just for Gurrat. And this will work the same exact way with any single logging PAL. As long as you manipulate where the logging site is while they're assigned to it, you'll know how far to go. For example, Dogen requires the logging site to be far forward. So if you were to try to put Gurrat on the one designed for Dogen, he won't even like it. Let's see. There you go. He is going to be punching all the way through it. And the one designed for Gurrat, if you were to put Dogen on it, he's not going to line up. But as long as you follow the process you will be able to perfectly line this up for any PAL that you like.
Yeah.
I personally think it's so cool to be able to make like a dojo or a training site or something like that for my pals. I don't necessarily like the logging site, so being someone who only uses one logging site per base, this is a perfect solution for me. So you can make a custom one of these for your favorite pal that makes you wood. It doesn't matter if they're good at it or not. It just matters that you like it. So whatever pal you enjoy can be training and getting you wood at the same time in your base. Personally, my favorite is going to be Bushi. Bushi and War Sector are my favorites. And this is how you make a custom logging and training site visually for your base. I want to thank you for joining me in this tutorial. God bless you guys. See me in the next one. Take care.